Hello and welcome back to Booking Through Life. I'm Mary and this is Jinx. And today we're going to talk the book acquiring tag. Art at Art's Bookshelf Odyssey tagged me, and I was really excited because it's my first tag, and I'm like, oh, somebody in BookTube remembers me, recognized me. And this tag was originally created by Enter the Book, and I will link the original tag video and Art's tag video down below. I'll also try to link a couple of other videos of his because I just wanted to say, if you aren't familiar with Art at the Bookshelf Odyssey, please check out his channel. He has great book recommendations. He has great taste in books. He just adopted a dog from, I think, the Humane Society or the Pound. The animal shelter, I guess, is now probably more PC to say. And he also interviews authors, and they're quite good interviews. I've come to be interested in some books because of his interviews. Two in particular I will mention. He interviewed Tirza Price, who's the author of Pride and Premeditation, and then she has a second book that just came out recently called Sense and Second Degree Murder. And then his latest interview was with someone who has a mobile bookstore. But the one before that was an author named Danielle Orsino, and she has a series of books. The series is called The Birth of the Fae, and they sounded very interesting. I'm putting them on my virtual TBR list. And yeah, so please check him out because you will not regret it. Anyway, let's start with these questions here. So this is all on acquiring books, which don't we all love to do that? So question number 1, do you plan your book purchases ahead or impulse buy? Well, I do both, but if I have to be honest, I would have to say that most of my purchases are impulse buys. I love to peruse the thrift stores. I love to go to the bookstore. We have a very big used bookstore here. In fact, there's 3 of them around town, and they have quality used books for about half the price, which is a little more expensive than thrift stores, but yeah, it's fun to go look in. And so I'll go and look. And we know how that goes. That ends up usually meaning a purchase. So, but I do plan ahead on some books. There are like this recommendation. I really want to read this Danielle Orsino's first. I don't know the name of the first book in the series, but it sounded so good that I will put that on my plan to buy list. So yeah, that's kind of what I do. Number 2, how do you decide what to buy? Well, I love book covers, so a book cover will definitely sway me into purchasing it. And also even, just the book, how the book feels itself and the text. And in fact, I just bought the Alice Through Looking Glass, last month, a couple of weeks ago, last month or something, for Victober, just because I happened to wander into this locally owned, both new and used bookstore, and I just happened to see it, and it called to me because it was such a beautiful book. Also, I might read the first page of a book to see if the writing style really draws me in. Like I said, if I'm watching a BookTube video and the recommendation seems like a really good book, that will pique my interest. That's where I get a lot of books that I want to buy. I also listen to the Modern Mrs. Darcy, and she interviews different people and recommends books to them. And so I've learned of a few books from her. I also listen to some other Christian podcasts, and there's a gal named Susie Larson. She's from the Minneapolis area, I believe, and some of the authors who she interviews, I'll be interested in buying a book by them. And then also just following certain authors and wanting to read their next book or their latest book. So that's how I decide what to buy. Number 3 is, what is my philosophy on where I shop? And so there was a couple of subcategories. So one of them was online or in person. I would prefer in person, but sometimes you can't find the book you want. So then I go to online. I love thrift books. I have the app. I did that again. I bought some books from Abe Books, and I'll use Amazon too. There's also another. They're kind of Christian. It's kind of an artist community. It's called the Rabbit Room, and they do sell books there as well, and they are very fun to buy from. The first purchase I bought from them. They sent me a sticker with a rabbit smoking a pipe. And then they send you texts to let you know like how when your book is arriving and when they send it out, and they send the text as if it's kind of Renaissance lingo, and we've dispatched our minions. I don't know. Anyway, I wish I would have kept one of their texts. I would have read it. It's fabulous. It's worth buying a book from them just to have those texts come to you. Another one was large versus small. Again, I don't discriminate too much. I would rather buy from a small independent bookstore. I love finding independent bookstores around different communities around my own hometown. When I go on little day trips, that's a lot of fun. But I'll go to Barnes and Noble. I don't have a problem with that. I love going into small bookstores when I'm traveling and buying a book. If I can find a book that also is the setting is the area where I'm traveling to, that's really fun. I do love to support independent book owners, and we have a few here in my town. New or used, I love both. I love rescuing a used book and giving it a new home, and I think that's a good thing. And also buying used books, if you buy them at thrift shops, that usually helps. They're usually affiliated with a charity, so that's a good thing. But I love supporting authors, and I also just love having a new book. A brand new book to me is a good thing. Physical, audio, or digital. I prefer physical. I'm tactile, so I love the feel of a book. I love deckled edges. I love the way they might put together the book cover. There's so much about a physical book to love that I will always pick a physical book. But audiobooks I've just recently been getting into, and sometimes it's nice to have the book read to you, and then you can read a book while you're in the car, while you're driving. It offers more opportunity to read, so I love that. And then digital books, I don't do digital books too much. I have checked some out from the library when the physical copy isn't available. I might be becoming a little more swayed the more I do that it's much easier to travel with digital books than it is with physical books. So, but I just love my physical books. So that's my answer for that. I'll take them all. Number 4, what about little free libraries? Oh my goodness, I love myself a little free library. I have downloaded the app. Don't think I've gone to all the little free libraries here in my town, but I have visited quite a few, and I like to visit them when I travel as well. and I like them so much that I purchased a little free library for my own house, and it came last week, and hopefully by the beginning of November we'll have it up, and I'm collecting books for it. So I'm like, I get to buy books for me. I get to buy books for my little free library. What could be better than that? And the saddest thing to me is a little free library that doesn't have books in it, or has a really poor, or um, yeah, I guess the book is in a poor condition. That's sad to me. So I want my little free library to be an exciting library. It's going to have a Facebook page, and I think it will change, just like whatever's happening in the booktube world will be happening in my little free library. So I'm super excited about that. Love little free libraries. How do I feel after acquiring a book? I'm sorry, I kind of feel like, duh. I feel wonderful after acquiring a book, and I wish that I had more time to read more. Um, yeah, so let's acquire a book every day if we could. So yeah, I don't feel badly about acquiring a book at all. But here we're going to delve deeper into this after I've acquired the book. Number 6, how do you feel looking at your books that you haven't yet read? Does it matter if it's currently a lot or a little amount? How do I feel looking at my books? Well, I like collecting Jane Austen retellings. So when I look at those that haven't been read, it makes me think about Jane Austen, which to me, sorry Victober, but Jane Austen July for me is the happiest time of the year, or the most wonderful time of the year in the bookland. And so when I see those, I just think, I get to peek into those in July, and they're sitting there waiting for me. It's kind of a nice thing. Other books, I think, look, I have things to look forward to. If I can't find a new book, if nothing's piquing my interest, I have friends waiting for me to visit. There is a stack of books, though, that's kind of the bane of my existence. They've been there for a while. And like, maybe a good question is, how long is too long for a book to be on your TBR list? I think once it's been 5 or 6 years for me personally, I'm like, oh, I start to feel guilty that I haven't gotten to that, and that I've done the like squirrel and let my attention move towards another book, or another, just another maybe type of book even. So that's the one stack that I kind of makes me have a little angst. And then number 7 is, how do you decide what number of unread books is the right amount? I just think that there's no number. Why do that to myself? Don't do that to yourself. If you have a lot of unread books, just rejoice that you have a lot of books that you could, for some reason, if another pandemic happened and you were stuck in your house, you have a nice library to draw on. And just think, it's Victober right now, and just think of how many libraries there were in those old Victorian homes, especially estate homes, and they all went unread. I don't think anybody was feeling badly about it, so I don't think you should feel badly about it. The library doesn't lament over which books are unread or not. They're just there. They're available, and I think that's a beautiful thing. Ideally, though, let's just go with my ideal. Ideally, I would have enough time to get caught up with all my books and maybe only have 3 to 5, except for my Jane Austen July books, and maybe some Victober that I hadn't read yet. Okay, moving on to number 8. Do I have a TBR game or a process for reading them? I do not have a TBR game. I think I don't really know too many TBR games. I guess there's like pull out of the jar or whatever. I think I just maybe just like impulse buying. I kind of impulse read. What am I feeling like reading? Maybe I'm feeling like I need to not buy as many books, and I need to start whittling away on that TBR. And so what's looking good to me right now? So I just, no, not that organized or that planned ahead. Number 9. Do you have a book buying problem? What's the nature of it, and can it be adjusted? I don't think I do. I feel like the last several months since this past Jane Austen July, I've been buying a little bit more books. I think since I've been anticipating starting booktube, becoming a booktuber, and getting more involved with some of the reading challenges, I think that has stirred up some book buying in me, but I kind of feel like that's tapering down. Maybe it just was a season. I mean, I'll always want to buy books, but I don't think I have an issue with it. And, you know, I think it's okay. So I don't think buying books is ever a problem. Anyway, and finally, we're to tag 2 to 3 others to ponder their buying purchase process. Oops. And so, I think I might have lost my paper. I don't know. Since I'm kind of new to this, I feel a little shy to tag people, but I think I'm going to tag Tome Raider. She's one of my subscribers, and she has a smaller channel. And another one is Camille at Haste Ye Books. And so I need to figure out how I tag them and let them know that they're tagged. And hopefully I'll figure that out. And I know. If you are watching this and you would like to be tagged, consider yourself tagged. Tag, you're it. And you can do the book buying, the book acquiring tag. I'd love to, and if you do, please let me know. I'd love to watch it. And then finally, number 11. Know you are awesome just as you are. Being a book lover is amazing. It is, isn't it? And look, and being part of the booktube community is amazing too. All right, that's it. That's all about me and acquiring books. And that's Jinx. He looks like he might be moving on to, no, I thought he was going to move on to the window. But until next time, I hope all of your book purchases are good ones. And I hope you have continue to have a fantastic Victober, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.